What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Random Encounter Podcast, episode 136. I'm your host, James, and I'm joined by the fanboy himself, Phaneckswhy,
What's up? What's up?
and we got the Dresser Master, the dominant himself, Mr. Bryant.
Hello.
So you got that Ape Escape shirt.
I do have an Ape Escape shirt, you bet.
Ape
I felt
Escape?
it was appropriate I guess not the same franchise, but Donkey Kong, Ape Escape, yellow,
Yeah.
it all kind of fits, right?
Yeah, exactly. Ape Escape is one of those games that I would love to see come back. I doubt
Oh
Sony
yeah.
would ever revisit it, but it was good. Like I really enjoyed it. I remember back on the PS1 playing it, and I didn't own it. A friend actually owned it, and I remember I got sucked into it. I was like, "Hey, can I borrow it?" And I forgot what we did. We kind of like traded games. He let me borrow it, and then after I got done with it, we traded back. But yeah, Ape
I
Escape
guess
was
it
one of those
depends
good
on how
games.
well Metal Gear Solid Delta does with that Ape Escape mode.
Hmm.
PlayStation is gonna make everything depend on Metal Gear Solid Delta. Yeah. I mean, honestly, Konami's got other things to depend on there with Metal Gear Solid Delta. Like, I just want Konami to come back with some Castlevania. Like, that would be nice. But anyways,
How about yeah.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, how about just release that 2-pack of Symphony of the Night and
Rondo
Rondo
of
of
Blood.
Blood on
Yeah,
PC and
that
across all the consoles.
that would be amazing. I doubt they would do that. That would be awesome though. Like, we talked about it last podcast that
Mm.
those two games are really the games that are not available on all platforms. PlayStation has it, but that's it. You can't get it on Switch or PC or even Xbox. Though you can
Crazy.
get
Well,
the
Symphony of
Castlevania.
the Night is on Xbox.
True, that is right. You have the Xbox 360
Right.
version on there, so that's true. Rondo of Blood is rare. It was a TurboGrafx 16 game. But it's amazing because the TurboGrafx 16 was way more powerful than a Super Nintendo for 16-bit. That version of the game was on a CD. So technically speaking, it was kind of like punching way above its weight, more on par with the PS1 in terms of like graphics capability. So they have voice lines in it, they had anime cutscenes. Well, not the best anime cutscenes, they were in there. It was really good. Like if you could get that collection on PlayStation, I highly recommend playing it. I played it, loved it. If they ever do port those games, I do think there needs to be like a quick save feature for Rondo Blood specifically because that game is hard. It is a very hard game, but awesome nonetheless. Great music. Has probably I think it has probably my favorite soundtrack in all of well, yeah, I would
Very
say in
good.
all of Castlevania. It has a lot of remixes from like older Castlevania games, right? So you have the initial theme, the very first theme that you hear in the first Castlevania, but they remixed it. You have what is it called? Is it Bloody Tears? Right?
I thought Bloody Tears was Castlevania 2.
Well, no, I'm saying you
Maybe
have
they have a
that one as
remix.
well. Yeah,
Oh,
because I think
okay.
the original, the first theme, like the first level for Castlevania, isn't that just called Simon's theme? Or maybe it's called something
Probably.
else. Yeah, I forgot what the name of that theme is, but it's the main theme where, if you watch the Smash trailer, they played it when Simon appeared. But yeah, has a lot of good tracks in that game. Anyways, we got a few things to talk about today. We're gonna go ahead and discuss the Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct, which actually surprised me. We're gonna talk about third-party games on Nintendo Switch too, and as well as some Stellar Blade rumors. But before we get into that, as always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Follow over on Twitch if you're there as well, and also don't forget to hang out with us while we do our streams. Tomorrow we do have a Mario Kart stream going on again. We're trying to get as many people as possible to show up and just have a lot of fun doing this craziness. So let's go ahead and start with some small news. Starting with Nintendo Switch 2 got a firmware update that kind of fixes some backwards compatibility. So it's firmware 20.1.5. I was watching a video by GBG, and I didn't know this, but apparently Pikmin 3 Deluxe Edition did not work on Switch 1. Like it said it was compatible, but when you actually booted it up, there was like artifacting and there was like a bunch of graphical glitches in the game. Now with this update, it seems like it's perfectly fine now. It will perfectly work. There's still a bunch of other games that are not compatible. While a lot of the not compatible games are not like big games, there are still some out there that I think stand out. Portal 2 being one of them that has still not been updated to be compatible with the Switch 2. which is kind of weird because I think Portal 2 is probably a big enough game that should probably work. And I'm not sure if that's something on Nintendo side and Nintendo has to work with their translation layer to make Portal 2 compatible, or does Valve have to go ahead and do that update? I guess it's one of those things we'll have to wait and see. But that goes to show you like backwards compatibility. I don't think it's as easy as a lot of people think, because back then, the way backwards compatibility worked, for example, with like GameCube games on the Wii, is because you actually had the GameCube hardware inside the Wii as well. So you have both the Wii hardware and the GameCube hardware all in one, which, funny enough, is pretty crazy when you think about it, that you had two consoles in one, and we took that for granted. But yeah, you had both GameCube and Wii hardware in there. Similar to Wii U and Wii, you had the Wii hardware in there, which is why when you went through and had to play Wii games, you kind of had to open up the Wii version of the Wii U. So you got into that menu, and then it will start natively playing all those games on there. PlayStation had it, right? They had the PS2 hardware in the PS3, which is why it cost so much. And then eventually they took out the PS2 hardware just to have PS1 compatibility and only PS3 compatibility there. So very, very interesting to see. Um, on the topic of backwards compatibility, there is a rumor that's now spreading around that apparently Microsoft is working with Xenia to kind of be able to port over the OG Xbox and 360 games and make them compatible with Windows or with PC, which is kind of cool because you know what that means. I'm sure everybody knows what that means, right?
Lost Odyssey.
Yeah, Lost Odyssey on PC is coming closer and closer. I'm telling you, the day that Lost Odyssey appears on PC, I don't care if I have to buy it again. I will buy it. Like that game is well worth it. It does work great already on Xenia, with no issues. I mean, there's some minor issues there, but it does work great. There is like a point where the game can mess up and kind of basically just glitch you out. But for the most
I
part,
can't
it
get it to
does.
work.
What for Lost Odyssey
Yeah.
on your ROG
Yeah, on Xenia. I can't get it to work on Xenia on my PC, on my computer.
Oh, on your
I
PC?
figured, yeah, I'm like, if I had on my computer more powerful, like I should be
Yeah.
able to like brute force some stuff. Like as soon as I turn it on, this camera just like flips and just spins, and it's all just.
That's
I'm like,
weird.
nope.
Yeah,
Not gonna
I've
try.
only tested it on the ROG Ally X. I've tested that and Blue Dragon, and both of those work fine on there. So I have no issue with it. I wonder why on there. Yeah. Maybe it works better on AMD hardware. I doubt it, but like maybe, because I think Xbox 360 had, who was it? They had a Power PC, but the graphics was ATI, right? Which was
Hmm.
AMD, which you know ATI was what it was before AMD bought out ATI. So I believe it should work. Well, I don't know. Who knows? We'll have to see how why that's happening. I'm gonna look into that actually. But yeah, that's kind of good news right there. Maybe that will make that initiative of Microsoft building a PC that also plays Xbox games come true. That would be cool. And then what happened a little bit ago, I'm pretty sure you guys saw the news on it was on Twitter and Blue Sky. Metroid Prime 4 banner was spotted in London subway that said out now, which is funny. And it's got a lot of people speculating, like, oh, are we gonna get a surprise direct? It's gonna be one of those, it's out
Shadow Drop
today.
Metroid.
Yeah, I don't think that's I think this is like an honest mistake. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Nintendo wants Metroid Prime 4 to sell a lot. And I don't know if shadow dropping would have it sell as much as they think. What do you guys think on that?
No, this isn't a game you Shadow Drop. Like a
No,
port, yes,
you
like
Shadow
2 and
Prime in
3.
2, 3. Yeah,
Exactly. Yep.
Mm. I
yeah. I think it was a mistake. Like someone mixed up their boxes and put the merch out or put the display out like incorrectly.
I
well
think it's just AI that was being passed around.
AI being passed around. It makes sense. Somebody was pointing out that the template looks to be the exact same as Mario Kart World. So next to the
Mm.
Metro Prime 4, there's a Mario Kart World, and the out now is in the same exact spot that it is on Metroid Prime on the Metro Prime 4 like poster there. Which
Yeah, and
you know, yeah, go ahead.
I feel like it's a bit too soon for like retail to have that kind of banner
Mhm.
laying around. I'll be thinking that if they're gonna release this game like winter 2025, they wouldn't have those banners right now, right during the
Yeah.
summer. They'll probably receive them like maybe sometime around September, October, around that time frame.
hmm
But now, yeah, that's extremely
Or
fishy to me.
someone could have just made it themselves and they're just trolling the internet.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
put it
that's
up
it.
themselves.
Yeah.
True. I don't think so because it's like official. Unless the
Hey,
worker is. Well,
they're probably talented. Who knows?
I mean, because they
You can make
have
anything look
literally
pretty
it's
official.
Metro Prime 4, Mario Kart World, and there's another banner in the picture to the right. I think it's Kong Bananza. So they have all three of those like side by side. I don't know if anybody's trolling. I think it's an honest mistake. Like whoever is doing the marketing team who printed out the poster or created a poster just reused a template from Mario Kart World and forgot to remove the coming soon. Like if you ever for example, like when I do the thumbnails, I have one file that has basically everything because I never know when I need to use the Nintendo Switch like console that I have there. I go through and I kind of cut out the background so I have it there. So if I need to use it on different backdrops, I can. And if you're not hiding that layer, it could just appear, right? So the out now is just a layer, and they forgot to hit the hide button, and they just went ahead and hit print, and there you go. Because that's honestly can happen. Like with what I'm using right now as our thumbnail, where the Nintendo Switch 2, and then it shows like I have Street Fighter 6, Cyberpunk, and Yakuza 0 games there. If I were to click the layer above it, it's the Nintendo Switch 2 logo, which I had before, and I could add it in and take it out and so forth. So yeah, or for example, that's going to lead us into our next topic and our major topic. I have a Switch 2 that's on a table, and then on the Switch 2 screen is playing Stellar Blade. So, like, that's just a layer. I can just remove the Stellar Blade, and then what you're actually going to see is Donkey Kong Bonanza, which was actually in that photo. So I think it's an honest mistake there.
Speaking
But
of Nintendo Switch 2, I've got my other dock, so I have my dock on my desk that
oh, nice.
we can do multiplayer with, and now I have the desk by the entertainment center, so I have two Switch 2 docks now.
Did you on launch day? Did you buy the dock or did you wait?
Yeah,
You
I bought
did.
it on launch day.
So it took you about 2 weeks to receive it.
Yep.
Man. Okay, so
But that could have been too because like it wasn't officially released yet. Like maybe it took a couple days for them to like start shipping them or whatever.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, because I definitely need to pick up a second dock. I've been taking my dock downstairs to play on the
Yeah, it's
living
annoying to
room.
do that.
It is, and I'm afraid of. I have this thing. I hate unplugging and plugging things in back
Yep.
and forth because I'm afraid that a port can die out or something like that.
Something. Yeah.
That and I'm using a third party brick downstairs for the dock, and I'm like freaking out over it. But hopefully nothing happens. We'll see. So far, nothing's happened on the Switch 2, but we'll see. But like I mentioned, speaking of Stellar Blade, let's go ahead into our first big topic. Right now, there's a rumor going around that Stellar Blade might make its way for Switch 2, and I don't know. The rumor sparked up because the Shift Up CEO, he's been gifting his employees things. He gifted them PS5s when Stellar Blade came out, PS5 Pros, which I think was earlier this year that he did. And then now he's gifting them all Nintendo Switch 2s. So a lot of people are assuming that that's because there is a Switch 2 version out there. And then somebody said that they heard that Switch 2 Stellar Blade was going to make its way onto Switch 2. I hate when I hear that where it's like, oh yeah, I've heard somebody say, because it's like you can make a rumor anyways. I can say I heard Astrobot's coming to Switch 2, right? I can say that and make it up, and then next thing you know, everybody's saying, oh yeah, so and so heard the Astrobot's coming. But I don't know. I don't know if this game would ever come to Switch 2. Like, what are you guys' thoughts? Do you guys think this rumor is true? Because I don't buy it.
I don't buy it either. It would be awesome to see Stellar Blade on Switch 2, no doubt about it. But it's weird to base a rumor off of something that the CEOs were willing to give to their own employees and stuff. That's extremely far fetched, and I don't know that's just a really weird rumor to make up on, especially like because the CEO decides to give employees free Switch 2s. It doesn't make any sense to me at all and
Mhm.
stuff. I need more concrete evidence that this is actually happening, you know? So,
Yeah.
I definitely could see this happening. Like this would be the epitome of one of those direct games, like they're doing the Nintendo Direct, and it says Eve makes her way in a stellar way to Nintendo Switch. Tell me that's not going to happen one day. Anyway, I don't know how true
Maybe.
the rumor is, but I definitely could see it happening.
I mean, like yesterday, Nintendo like released the announcement trailer for 007 First Light.
hmm
Like in that game, that trailer actually looked pretty good compared to the PS5 announcement trailer in terms of like quality. I mean, it was not like the same, but it was still really, really good. So that kind of shows that the Switch 2 has some pretty good hardware if it can run that game.
Mhm.
And all they have to do is kind of like tweak some things with Stellar Blade, and it could technically probably run on it.
Absolutely. If it can get Cyberpunk to run, they can absolutely get Stellar Blade to run.
Yeah.
oh yeah, absolutely, I agree. It's just like I have no doubt in my mind they can get that game to run on the system. It's just like how they're basing the rumor off of, right? It's weird to me to say, "Hey, Stellar Blade is coming on the Switch 2 because the CEO is going to give them free Switch 2s." You know, I just need more concrete evidence as it actually
Mhm.
comes to the Switch 2.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't think so because I believe. Well, I mean, I could be wrong because we've seen Nintendo fund games and then they release on other platforms later on, right? Dragon Quest 11S is one of those that actually was co-funded by Nintendo. So it wasn't just Square Enix. Nintendo actually funded the game because Iwata had felt that Dragon Quest is one of those things that needs to be around forever. He thinks it's a very important part of video game history. So he had funded Dragon Quest 11S specifically with Square Enix, and of course later on we did get Dragon Quest 11, but 11S eventually came out to other platforms as well. Um, and then I think what's it called? What's the game? Octopath Traveler, right? Was at least published by Nintendo in the beginning, and then later on was released on other platforms. There's
That's
another
why it
one.
got delisted for a minute, right? Because of
Yep.
that.
Yeah, because they had to change, I guess, the publishing rights back to Square Enix. I think Triangle Strategy was another one. There's a few other games that they did. So it's possible, but I don't know how much like Sony had into the development of Stellar Blade. PC, I think, is a safe bet because Sony's bringing all their franchises to PC, but I don't know about Stellar Blade. Like, I just I don't see it. I think Sony wouldn't put that on another platform. This is not a Lego Horizon like
Yeah, I was gonna
tidbit.
ask. Didn't Lego Horizon? It wasn't Lego Horizon like a Sony IP
hmm
technically. I
It
mean,
is.
is that published by Sony? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, didn't the other day they said that like Sony said that like the Switch 2 is not really competition or something like that?
They did, yeah. So earlier
Yeah.
this week, they said that Switch 2 is not competition. They're not worried about the Switch 2, and now they're actually full on dedicated to the PlayStation 6, which has got a lot of people also worried, was a topic that if we had time, I wanted to go into later on. But I guess we can also talk about that after this. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not buying it. But if Stellar Blade were to come back, Brian, or I say come back, if it were to come to Switch 2, Bryant, would you pick it up?
Of course, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't buy it at full price, probably,
Mhm.
but I would buy it eventually. Absolutely.
Gotcha. What about you, fan? Would you pick it up?
Well, I haven't bought it at all yet, so who knows?
How about you, Ash?
If it's on a physical cart, yep.
Physical card? I doubt it. Probably game key card, like everything else, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, but that's the only condition if it's gonna come on the Switch 2, put it on
Yeah.
a cart.
Yeah, I'm in that thing where like that mindset. I kind of want to go ahead and buy third-party games on Switch 2 to kind of support and show that hey, we want these type of games on Switch 2. But at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, do I buy it on PC? Because I know whatever handheld comes out for PC, I can always play that. Like I'm kind of mixed. I do want. I mentioned this last time. I kind of want my Switch 2 to be my go-to handheld. It would be nice for it to be my go-to handheld for everything, and I can get these AAA games because of how small and compact it is. It's a lot lighter than carrying around the ROG Ally X, a lot easier to carry around, and so forth. And plus, you have the classic games on there from Super Nintendo and 64. It's kind of like it has everything that I want from a handheld. And for me to have third-party games, I would love it to be there. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to invest, which is probably what a lot of people are thinking of, which will lead into our next topic. Is I don't want to invest into buying third-party games, but then we don't get third-party games later on, right? This becomes more of a Wii U situation where the Wii U had a great lineup and it had a lot of good games. There were early ports and also simultaneous releases to eventually just die out. I kept buying games on my Wii U that were third party because I wanted to support the Wii U to show it. I bought, Batman Arkham
What was
Origins.
that called?
Which one?
What was the second one? Because I remember
Arkham City?
Wasn't Arkham City a launch game? It
It
was like
was, you're
the
right.
something edition. What was it?
Yeah. I forgot what it was, but yeah, they had the like
I'm gonna look
special
it
like
up.
gloves that you got. I
Yeah,
remember
let's see
that.
what it's called. Batman Arkham City Wii U Armored Edition.
Yeah, because you got the
Armored
armor
Edition.
basically. Yep. But I bought that. I bought Mass Effect 3 on there and beat it. Splinter Cell Blacklist I bought on the Wii U.
Oh yeah, I remember that Black Ops. You mean Black Ops? I think.
Well, Black Ops 2 as well, but Splinter Cell Blacklist.
Oh, I don't even know what Blacklist. Are you?
Mhm.
Oh, you say Splinter Cell Blacklist?
Yeah, Splinter Cell Blacklist.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha. This is Call of Duty Black Ops. Okay, I was
No.
getting it mixed up.
Well, the Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I believe it was. Yeah,
It did go
Call of
on
Duty Black Ops
Wii
2.
U. Yep.
I did buy that, and I even, it was a lot of fun playing we were playing zombies 2 players. And it was fun to play with my son where one person has a TV, the other person has a gamepad. And rather than having to do split screen, we can play that way, which was awesome. Like the Wii U, I gotta say, it's probably in context my favorite console by design. Like I like everything that the Wii U brought. It's just sad that they didn't have the game lineup to kind of push through with it. And I guess it's mainly on third parties and it didn't sell as much. But I really like what the Wii U had. But in the beginning, it had pretty good third party support. You had, trying to think, what else
Just
was
can't believe the gamepad was glossy. That annoyed me so much.
that was annoying. Yeah, I hated that too. And the cheap plastic it was made out of, but but you had decent third party support. Like EA was around for some games. Ubisoft, of course, supported it. You had Zombie U, which was also a pretty good game. Um,
Nintendo Land was fun.
Nintendo Land was really fun. I really enjoyed it, especially like all the everything they had in there was pretty fun. The Metroid thing where you have like 4 people as Samus and 1 person is the ship. The Zelda stuff in there was pretty cool. The Pikmin stuff that they had was cool. I mean everything, all the mini games in there were pretty awesome. But yeah, I don't know if Stellar Play would come to Switch 2. But if it does, I'm excited. But like I was mentioning, leading into our next topic, there's a report that says that third-party games aren't selling well on Nintendo Switch 2. Apparently, one third-party publisher sold worse than the worst possible outcome that they thought of, which is pretty bad. But, and I forgot to put the name of the person who wrote it, but they're from Circana, who does now all they used to be MPD, so they do all like the game sales reporting and all that other stuff. They came out and said that actually third-party sales are 40%, right? So they make up of 40% of the sales that came out for the Switch 2, compared to the Switch 1 during launch time, where it was less than 20%. So now I'm wondering, is it just maybe one publisher is feeling bad? Maybe that publisher is Sega for being upset that nobody's buying Sonic Generations again because they're kind of
Yep.
pissed off. Like I really wondered. Cyberpunk 2077 is the best selling third party game out there. I guess we'll have to wait and see if there's an official report. But what are you guys' thoughts on this?
So it's this one. Yeah, I was reading through that earlier today, and I feel like not a lot of people have the don't fully understand the grasp of it
Mhm.
when it comes to third party sales for the most part, because I just think that like a lot of people were getting their third party content from like other platforms
Mhm.
before Nintendo and stuff. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind. Secondly, a lot of people were blaming us on the game key cards. I mean,
Yeah.
I can blame it too, but the thing is that's mainly on Nintendo to provide better options for third party developers to put their stuff on physical cartridges. Because right now, um, physical cartridges are a lot more expensive to actually use when producing a physical version of those games
Mhm.
and stuff. And I did a bit of research into it. Like those physical cards are actually more expensive than the Blu-ray disc, believe it
Mm.
or not. So it's more. And if you actually wanted them to do a full game on the physical card, they're probably gonna want to be a lot more expensive, like maybe $70 to $80 for the most part. So you can't really even if you blame it on the game key card, you have to blame it on Nintendo for only giving third party developers two options, which is either the 64 card or just the game key card at that point.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's multiple different things that may have contributed to low sales. For me, I say that hey, listen, and I think Nintendo themselves need to do better when it comes to for like providing better support for third party
Yeah.
devs, and that's pretty much it. So
Yeah. I don't know if I would say I agree with everything there because like I get it. The game cartridges are definitely more expensive, but also like on the business standpoint, it makes sense to only make a 64 gig or game key card, right? Because thinking ahead, games are going to be huge, right? Outside of maybe Nintendo games, which they're really good at compressing the games. We already have something like Split Fiction that goes beyond a 64 gig cart. Cyberpunk managed to fit on 64, which is nice, but like we have other games like Street Fighter,
Plus the DLC,
yeah, plus the
like
DLC.
Cyberpunk and the DLC.
Yeah, so both of them were
64
on the
gig.
That's
cart, which is
impressive.
impressive. But we have like Street Fighter, I believe. Street Fighter 6, I think, is like 50 gigs, somewhere right there, around there. So there's a lot of games that are up there that kind of makes sense to kind of like, well, just do 64 and call it a day. But I think developers are seeing, or publishers are seeing this as like, you know what, we can save money by just doing the game key card thing and call it a day there. Because who knows what the size of a game key card is? It's probably like megabytes, if anything. And they can just go ahead and put the install file on that, or rather the key on that, and then they have to download it. But
well, yeah,
mhm,
that makes sense to me. I'm more calling out to like certain games that could easily fit on the 64 gig cartridge.
mhm,
I can name three or off the bat: Rido, Rune
yeah,
Factory, Guardians of Ozma, and also Bravely Default. All those games are way below 64 gigabytes, but they
yeah,
still want to be in a game key card and stuff.
yeah,
Now,
And
games like Split
that's the
Fiction,
kicker. That's the kicker. It's
yeah,
it's under 64 gigs. It's small enough to where they don't feel the need to spend the money on a 64 gig card. They can
yeah,
just put it on a game key card.
exactly. I feel like if Nintendo would have give them more options, like maybe a 32 or 16
mhm,
cart, like they did with the Switch One, then maybe they'd be more inclined to use an actual physical card. But Nintendo's not doing that. You know?
yeah,
I mean, they probably found out like having multiple card like size options was a logistic nightmare on their
yeah,
part because they have to carry those multiple SKUs in their warehouse.
Hmm.
And if they have a lot of those carts left over, they're like, well, now we've got all these 16 and 32 gig carts that people aren't using, because towards the later end of like the Switch Life, people like they were just digital like freaking cards,
mhm,
right? Manufacturer like we're not gonna spend the money on a cart. We're just put the freaking code in the box.
yeah,
So from Nintendo's standpoint, they're like, well, we'll give you two options: either game key card, or you can use a 64 gig, and that's it.
yeah.
That way, it lessens their burden, and then it you know unfortunately makes the developer choose.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Hopefully, I mean, probably not. By the time Nintendo does their next console, they
Mhm.
may stick with Blu-rays, and that's if they want us to try to like maintain physical stuff, which I
Yeah.
highly doubt they won't. I feel like I feel like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are gonna all go to do like some sort of like game key cart / disc or just all physical. So I mean, no, all physical, not all physical, all digital.
But I wonder, like, do you really think that the third parties are hurting because of game key cart? Like, do you really think that's the reason why people are not buying or supposedly are not buying, even though Circana is saying that they are, and it's 40% of the makeup? Like, I don't think a game key cart is big enough for people not to buy. If anything, I've seen a lot of talk of saying, well, rather than buy game key card, I'll just buy it
Well,
digital.
yeah, I don't think it's a big reason. I
Mhm.
feel like it's one of the reasons, but definitely not the main reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Brian? Because I know you had talks about not wanting to buy third party on Switch too before.
Yeah, there's two main. They just came to me right now, James. Based on how you know me as a gamer and my habits and whatnot, what do you think my two main reasons are for my Switch not being my go-to for portable gaming?
No upgrade
Two.
paths.
I'm not talking about buying. I'm just talking about playing in general.
In general,
Yeah,
actually, I don't know.
I've talked
I'm trying
about
to
it.
think. Like,
What'd you say?
I don't know because I know you're big into like
Okay.
wanting to play the best it can be, right? So like, if you can get the game somewhere, you want the best way to play it. I know you've talked about that a couple of times.
That's true. So I guess maybe that would be number 3. But
Mhm.
my two main reasons are Switch ergonomics, which I don't
fair,
think
yeah.
Switch is
Yeah.
ergonomic at all. Still, it's better I think than the original Switch, but it's still not great, especially with the Joy-Con joystick still not being great. And then the other one is achievements.
Oh, I forgot
yeah.
about that.
I forgot
I
about
forgot
achievements
Because
about
too.
that.
Hey, what's up,
because I
Arcadia?
need to have my
I mean,
achievements
yeah.
to
Steam has
document what
achievements.
I'm doing. Exactly.
PS5 have achievements.
Honestly, I kind of
In
let
terms
that
of your
go.
ergonomics, I just bought the D brand, like
Mm-hmm.
Kill Switch, so I'll get that in
Oh, I'm
like
not familiar with
whenever it
that.
comes out. So I'll let you guys know how it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Genki
please do.
has one that's pretty cool too that I was looking into. So I might try
I
that
heard
one
the
out
grip slide off fairly easy the way it clips in
on the Genki one.
because you on the Genki one because you
Oh,
can
wow.
interchange the grips.
Yeah.
and because of that, they slip off easier.
Okay.
So I was like, I didn't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah. Oh, he says the hunt for the Switch 2 is terrible, man. Well, they've been up on and off in GameStop and Best Buy.
Who's Arcadia Neo? I had 2. They could have reached out before I returned them.
That is true. Are you ready to return them?
I already returned them.
Oh man. See,
I had a Mario bundle and it's plain.
Wait, you didn't try to sell them or something, or?
I didn't want to go through the hassle of like having to deal with like Facebook
Okay.
Marketplace and all that stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. Okay.
What was I gonna say? But yeah, there's like I think like grips like Satisfy and stuff like that would have been great.
Yeah, I don't know you, Arcadia. I'm just messing around.
But like those are valid points too. Like making it more ergonomic, like that makes perfect sense on why it won't be your main platform there. But let's say taking out the ergonomic side of it, would you have considered like the Switch 2 to be your main go-to? Let's say if it was
If
like the
you're
ergonomics of the Steam Deck. Let's pretend.
oh
Say a third party came with Joy Cons that gives you the ergonomics of the Switch,
Like
or
Hori.
of the Steam Deck.
like Hori.
Yeah.
Like the Split Pad Pro. It depends because I know it's pretty much established that Cyberpunk 2077 runs better on Nintendo Switch 2 than it does on Steam Deck. So I guess at that point it would kind of depend on where my importance of achievements lies compared to my need to play it portably with the best experience. I'm kind of with because you bought Cyberpunk, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, like I think the novelty of having that game on a cart, along with the packaging, along with kind of they're not indie, but just kind of like how CD Projekt Red's like this indie. They're not indie at all, but just kind of how they released the game with like cool stuff in it, and it has the whole game on it, which is
party.
very
Stickers.
It's just very. I just mean like it's very like punk
like, who
rock
else does
kind of in a
this?
way.
Recently, who else does this stuff recently?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Square
They're kind of punk
Enix.
rock. Like they're not doing the normal thing where it's like they're just gonna fart out a key card and like call it a day. Like they
Yeah.
actually put the whole thing on there. They put some TLC into it, and I just kind of respect that. Where I want to give them some money. But again, I own Cyberpunk on Steam. I own it on Xbox. I own it on PS5. I'm not gonna quadruple dip on Nintendo Switch unless it gets on sale. Kind of the same reason that I never bought Hogwarts Legacy on Switch until it was like incredibly cheap. Then I picked it up when it was doing that upgrade path. So it'll be the same thing for the other games. As soon as Street Fighter goes on sale cheap, I'll pick it up on there just because again I want to have that on Nintendo Switch because I just think it's a really great game along with Cyberpunk. And then there's another third party too that I wanted to get that I wish listed recently. I'm trying to remember what it was, but
Bravely
I was like,
Default?
oh yeah, I'll buy that too. Well, that's not out on anything else though, is it?
No, it's only available on Switch too.
Yeah, so for sure I'm gonna get that eventually. I just have so much stuff to play. I can probably wait for that to go on sale. But there
you're
was
saying that
another one.
Split Fiction?
What'd you say?
Split Fiction?
I don't think I'll buy that on Switch. I don't think so.
Yeah. I think that's a one and done game. One of those things. I'm trying to think what other third party game. Yakuza 0.
I wish
Oh,
listed something.
that Yakuza
No.
0 game is only available on Switch 2 as well. So that is Switch 2 exclusive. Because that has like different story beats. They added a bunch of cutscenes and a bunch of other stuff. Updated the graphics as well.
I'll get I just had it in my head and I forgot it. Sonic. When that goes on sale for
Sonic
really
Generations.
cheap, I'll grab that.
The Sonic Generations.
Yeah,
That one?
when it goes really cheap.
Yeah, like $20.
Yeah, probably.
Did you buy No Man's Sky on the Switch when it was on sale?
I did. Yep, sure did. That was another one that was like, yep,
I did too.
That's totally fine for that price.
I
was fairly hesitant on that one because like
Yeah.
I'm not a big what's the terminology, like what's the genre for No Man's Sky for the most part?
Farming?
Is it kind of like resource gathering?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I'm not,
farming?
yeah, I'm not into that. I'm not trying to buy the game to just so to buy it.
Yeah.
That'd be like space, you know.
Honestly, I didn't think about getting like Hogwarts Legacy, but then like after Brian and Fan get in, I was like, you know what? Let me get it and see how I like
You won't
it.
be
I've been
left out.
enjoying it. Like I've been enjoying Hogwarts Legacy. I mentioned plenty of times I'm not a Harry Potter guy. I read up to Goblet of Fire when they were coming out. So at the time, like Goblet of Fire was the latest. But actually, I also owned, I think it's Order of the Phoenix. That's the one after, right? Order of the Phoenix after Goblet of Fire.
Yes. Yeah. When
Yeah.
Goblet of Fire, Order of Phoenix, Half-Blood
Okay.
Prince,
Half-Blood
Deathly
Prince.
Hallows.
Yeah. So I had that one in like, and they were all hard hardcover books too.
Hard copy.
Yeah, but I never read Order of the Phoenix. I just remember it had a cool blue like look. I was like, oh man, this is pretty cool. But yeah,
it's
I
considered one of the
watched like the
worst ones.
first two movies. And yeah, I just didn't care about that. Like I just think like wizards are lame, right? Wizards and
You're
witches
lame.
are lame. I never liked it. I don't like mage characters. I never play as a mage character. I'm always, like a tank or something like that, right? If you don't have a sword, you're pretty much lame. That's how it was. But playing Hogwarts Legacy is actually pretty fun. I'm really enjoying it. Like I like the combat in it. Definitely, it's made by fans of Harry Potter, and they soaked a lot because there's a lot of there that if I didn't have the little bit of knowledge that I knew about in terms of Harry Potter, I would be like, oh, what is this? Like, I don't understand this. But there's definitely some stuff that I don't even understand that they kind of like talk about. It's like, I don't understand what that is. But anyways, yeah, it's a good game. I mean, it's fun, and I'm enjoying it, and we'll probably continue playing after I beat Revelations.
Bit of a side note. Since we're on third party games, I did go out to GameStop and buy me 2 third party games for the Switch One. One of them's Rune Factory, Guardians of Ozma, because I want to really get to the Rune Factory series, and after doing research, this is like a light diet version of Rune Factory. So
why'd you get the Switch One version, not the Switch 2?
Because there's an upgrade path for it.
Oh, there is.
In the upgrade path, yeah, and the upgrade path is only 3 megabytes.
Okay, I did not know that. So is it an actual upgrade? Is it like an actual upgrade, or is it just an update?
It's only a resolution above in frame rate. That's it.
That's it. Okay, that's the difference between like Switch 2 native.
Oh yeah, I forgot one more other thing. Mouse mode when you're doing the farming mode. That's
Okay.
it. But yeah. So it made total sense to me. I mean, $10. I mean, some people may call it steep for just resolution and
Hmm.
frame rate because we have
I
plenty of
don't.
other Switch 2 games that got free updates for with the same thing and
Okay,
stuff.
yeah.
But I'm like, brother, I'm getting the whole physical card in the Switch One version. I'm gonna get the upgrade for only 3 MB.
Yeah.
I'll take that. And then the second one was Raida for Switch One. I decided to not get the Switch Two version and just brute force whatever I can to get a stable 60 FPS and don't really care too much about the resolution and shadow stuff. So that's the other game I have and everything. Which funny enough, when I went down there, they only had one copy of the Raito game for Switch One like so I'm like, oh, what? Okay, so guess I got lucky today. So
That's weird. Yeah, I'm looking at and I forgot Raito came out today. I was looking at that. Yeah, it for Rune Factory, it's interesting. Yeah, it shows game file size. It's 3 MB for Switch 2. But then when you actually go to like the Switch 2 like game, it says total file size is 17.9 gigs, where the Nintendo Switch version is only 6 gigs. That
that
that is
I'm
a
not too
huge
sure.
jump.
Yeah, when I checked my storage,
Yeah.
all it showed was the three. It only showed they only showed the updates and stuff,
Hmm.
which was like around a gig or so, and then with that, it also showed the 3 MB upgrade path I did, and that's pretty much it.
Hmm. Yeah,
Huh.
that's wonder how that works and if you're actually getting the full like Switch 2 experience, because that is interesting. It's only the 3 MB update, so you didn't have to re-download the game at all.
No, not at all.
Hmm.
And then also the other thing too with the Breath of the Wild, I don't know, we're getting slightly off
Yeah.
topic. That Switch Two Edition one, the reason why it's that big to begin with because Nintendo actually did rework almost everything about the game, like
Yeah.
actual texture, actual updated textures, lighting, this and that. If it comes to that size, that actually makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
and at that point, it wouldn't further make any sense for them to put two games into one cartridge for the Switch 2 edition version of Breath of the Wild. To
Yeah.
me, it wouldn't because like if I were to put that into my Switch 2, then this should give me the option to either play the Switch 1 or Switch 2 version off the physical card and
Hmm.
stuff. But yeah, if anything, yeah, it's just for now. I'm sticking with like the Switch One version. If the devs come out with the Switch One version, so
Yeah.
the other third party game I'm looking into, which I mean I'm not going to be playing that for a while. Um, since I need to play the first two games first is the AI summoning files Date No Sleep or something like that.
Hmm.
I forgot the full name of it, but that is another case where there's two versions. There's a Switch One version that's on the full cartridge, and then there's Switch Two version that's a game key card.
Yeah.
And they already confirmed that there's no upgrade path for that. So of course I'm just gonna get the Switch One version and just brute force whatever performance I can get
Is
up to
that
60
also Sega
FPS.
as well?
I don't know.
Let's
I
see.
no, actually, no. I know this. No, it's not. It's not Sega.
It's not okay.
I honestly, I don't think this is it's a Sega thing. Even though Atlas is under Sega, I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of devs are doing this. So I wouldn't call this mainly a Sega thing.
Oh yeah, Spike Chunsoft. They did this.
Yeah, Spike Chunsoft. Yep, that's correct.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think not having an upgrade path is stupid. Which is, I can see where if they go ahead and look at Switch 2. Well, I mean, I guess that game is new enough that it makes sense to not have an upgrade path. Even though I still think you should, but like something like that wouldn't bother me. But one of the biggest things that I'm looking at right now, because you brought it up on Nintendo's coming soon page, is there's a lot of games that are coming soon to Nintendo Switch, but there doesn't seem to be a Switch 2 version of said games. Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact is one of them, fighting game made by what's it called? Arc System Works. There is no Switch 2 version. There is only the Switch 1 version, which that's a game that I feel would hugely benefit, especially in graphics fidelity on Switch 2. Patapon 1 and 2 replay. There's only a Switch 1 version. There is no Switch 2 version there. Demon Slayer, I forgot what the something Chronicles, the fighting game. There's no Switch 2 version. There was another one. I just passed by it. Maybe it's on the next page. Let's see full list.
Well, I mean, I'm not too surprised about that, mainly
Mhm.
because that's like one of the caveats when trying to wait on a upgrade
Yeah.
or patch from the devs themselves and stuff.
Yeah.
When you're on PC or using a PC gaming handheld like the ROG Ally or Steam Deck, you don't have to worry about that because you're essentially using the PC version of the game.
Yeah.
Which brings up my other point to where like I'm fine buying games digitally if it's on my PC, because for the most part the digital games on PC is gonna have a lot more value compared to digital games on console, since I have a lot more power for what I can do with the games themselves and stuff, like
Yeah.
put in performance mods, do whatever fun stuff I like with it. Like, for example, on Elden Ring, when we did things co-op, it was fun and stuff. We got it working, and we had a blast with it. But you can't do that on consoles and stuff, right?
Mhm.
And the other thing too, which people keep forgetting about, the on PC, once it gets on PC, 9 times out of 10 the game is going to be cracked. So it's going to be somewhere preserved where for you
Yeah.
to download and play the game. If someday either Steam, GOG, Epic Games, or server shut down, you can still find a way to still play the game onto your PC and still have a fun time with it.
Yeah.
And a good example I can use and stuff is actually Last of Us PC version, because they didn't have the demo. So I went out, got it, downloaded, try it out, see if I like the game still. And after playing about an hour 2 or 3 of it, I was like, I'll wait for a sale, uninstalled it, and called it a day. You
Yeah.
know? So
Shinobi was the other game. That's another game that comes out next month. There's no
Oh, it's that
Switch.
soon? That's cool.
Yeah. So
I'm still waiting for that Ninja Gaiden game.
yeah, there's the Ninja Gaiden game as well. Yeah, I feel like that probably is gonna come a little bit later. But yeah, that's not one. But we have games like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 that are coming to Switch 2. Madden 26 is coming to Switch 2. I think they announced like pretty much all their franchises is coming to Switch 2, their sports franchises. And then when you look at like coming soon games, they have 24 coming soon games. Well, technically less because some of them are just like DLC. So there's not a lot, and it's got me worried. I've mentioned already. There's no Resident Evil. Why isn't Requiem on there? Or even, I'm fine with, like, I would rebuy Resident Evil 4 Remake on Switch too, just because I always like affiliate Resident Evil 4 with Nintendo. I played it on GameCube, so like I would prefer to own it on Nintendo console if I can. It's just one of those things that's I originally played it on GameCube. GameCube is the best version of that game in my opinion, and I would love to have Resident Evil 4 Remake on Switch 2 as well. But games like that would have been like a no-brainer. Like, port those games on Switch, have those ready. Capcom already has the dev kits. They have Street Fighter 6 already. So there's no excuse for those games not to be coming to Switch 2. Persona 4 Revival. We see that it is coming to PS5 and coming to Xbox and PC, but there's no Switch 2 confirmation yet. That's another game that Sega and Atlas have Switch 2 dev kits, so they should be coming to the Switch 2. Yet we have no confirmation of that yet. But I would love to buy third-party games on Switch 2 if we get those third-party games on Switch 2. And I think a lot of people too are just like, look, I don't want to rebuy the same game over. There's some games that I think have that pull. Resident Evil 4, I feel like, is one of those that a lot of people will rebuy on Switch 2 if they put it there. But there's other games that's just kind of like I don't want to rebuy that game. Like why? Or if I rebuy it, kind of like Brian says, I'll buy it when it's on sale. Like Sonic Generations 2, I don't want to rebuy it. If you give me a $10 upgrade path, I would have paid the $10, but if you're not gonna give me an upgrade path, then I'll wait for a sale.
yeah,
So
like they need to provide. So most of these definitely need to provide upgrade pass and like charge whatever 10, 15, well, whatever cost it is, so that way we don't have any issues and stuff. And that's pretty much it.
Yep, I agree. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's too early to tell and judge where the Switch 2 is going to be at with third-party support. I hope.
It hasn't even been a month old.
I know, it's only 3 weeks now. Yeah, it's only 3 weeks old, and it's like I hope we get a future direct that it talks about the future of Nintendo Switch 2, because there's still
2 weeks.
certain things Is it 2 weeks? It's 3 weeks.
2
No.
weeks.
What
No,
do you
it's
say,
2
fam?
weeks. It came out June 5th.
Oh, yeah,
you're
you're right.
All right, yeah, you're right. So it's 2 weeks. So it's 2 weeks old. Man, it feels like 3 weeks already for some reason. Uh, so it's 2 weeks old, and like, I hope that we get an announcement of just more Switch 2 games coming soon. I was kind of like reliving, and this is kind of semi going off topic before we go into Donkey Kong Bonanza. I was re-looking at how the Switch 1 was. And we had the announcement and I think we discussed this last time. We had the announcement or I'm sorry, the Switch 1 came out in March, and then
Comes in
April
October.
we had a direct,
It's October.
and that's when we got kind of like the line of what was coming soon. And when you look at that first year of the Switch 1, we not only got like Breath of the Wild, which was Game of the Year. Breath of the Wild was also going against Mario Odyssey, which was another Game of the Year nominee. Like we had two great Nintendo games. And then we also had smaller Nintendo games in between. We had Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that first year. That was in December that it came out. We had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. While yes, it's not a new game, it was a port, but still a great game nonetheless. There was quite
It's the same for Breath of the Wild.
well,
I mean, because it released both on the Wii U and the Switch. Like,
yeah,
was,
but that wasn't really a port. That was
Yeah.
a simultaneous release.
Yeah.
Where 8 Deluxe was a straight up, port there. But they had a great lineup of first party games, and that's not including, third party games that were coming out at the time. Here we really have Bonanza, Metro Prime 4, which I think Bonanza is, after the direct Game of the Year material, but we'll talk about that later. And then Metro Prime 4, and then nothing really in between after that. Like, I don't know of any other Nintendo game that's coming out.
Hopefully they shadow drop that Fire Emblem.
When's Kirby coming out?
There's no release date on Air Riders. But we
Hmm.
do know that's coming, but it just said coming soon. Or I think it said 2026.
There is there. Which game? Oh, Air
Air
Riders. Okay,
Riders,
gotcha. I
yeah.
thought you were talking about Sonic Crossworlds.
No, not Crossworlds. Yeah, Kirby Air Riders. Well, I guess we have Pokemon Legends ZA too. There is that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that game will do well too. I mean,
Mhm.
Pokemon games are going to do well regardless, despite the performance issues. So I have no doubt in my mind that that game's going to succeed as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, ZA is already showing off to run 60 FPS, which is good, and it looks better graphics fidelity. Last podcast I mentioned, I don't know if you were on when I said this. It might have been after you or before you came on. But if you go to the eShop and just look at the screenshots of Legends ZA on Switch, and then go to the Switch 2 versions and look at Legends ZA screenshots, there is a huge difference between the two. Like it is a big enough difference, and it's kind of nice to be able to see that in the screenshots of the eShop itself, which is kind of cool. All right, let's go.
I'll take a look at that. I'll
Oh,
take a look at that later.
yeah, highly recommend it. It looks great. I can't wait. But let's go ahead and talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza. Did everybody here watch the direct?
Yep.
I just saw a little bit.
Yep.
So I was kind of like I was in the mindset like I'm gonna get it, but I wasn't really hyped for it. I was just kind of like, and to me I'm just like, oh, it looks like Mario Odyssey, yeah, whatever. After after seeing it, it
What do
does
you
look
mean,
like Mario
James?
Odyssey, but this looks
better.
amazing. Like it's way better than what I thought it was gonna be in terms of like what I'm looking at, and I am excited to get it. It's definitely gonna be a day one. I might even pick up that amiibo just because everything surrounding
I
this
bought the
game
amiibo.
looks. I mean, you did buy the pre-order amiibo. I'm still debating on it. It's $30, but the amiibo looks cool. Like it looks really awesome. But everything they showed around it was awesome. They showed off Pauline, right? Which we know that was kind of leaked. I think it was by Nintendo Korea, where they accidentally had on the webpage it showed it was the picture with the little purple rock, but it was actually Pauline, and everybody's like, "Whoa, was that Pauline?" We weren't sure, but a lot of us were guessing it was Pauline. They came out and said it's Pauline. They showed off Super Saiyan 4 Donkey Kong, which looks crazy. Like that looks amazing. Or what I like to call is Donkey Kong basically gets the devil fruit abilities. He can turn into a zebra. He can turn into a ostrich, and then of course he has that huge like grade 8 form that they showed off, which is pretty cool. Honestly, the highlight to me though was the bonus levels. You guys know I'm a sucker for when you put different type of genres inside a game. I love when games do that. And the bonus levels, they were showing off different gameplay. They had one that was mirroring old school Donkey Kong where you had to jump over the barrels, or in this case, you had to smash through the barrels to climb up to the top. You had a side-scrolling one that looked like Donkey Kong Country. You had one that was basically just a minecart level. So they had a lot of mixture in these levels on the bonus levels, which I'm really excited to go ahead and play. Just everything surrounding this game just looks amazing. What do you guys think about it?
So that direct was really, really good. It really fully showcased on like what to expect for Donkey Kong Bonanza, and like kudos for Nintendo, because at first I wasn't really going to be picking up that game day one, but now they changed my mind. Like that's how you do marketing, right?
Yep.
And I hope it stays that way for future Nintendo titles and stuff. I hope when they do. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people are like anticipating for Metro Prime 4 by this time, but like I really hope they knock it out of the park with their Metro Prime 4 direct and stuff, and showcase some like what to expect from that game as well. You know, my favorite parts from the direct. Well, obviously, I'm pretty sure this is like everyone's mostly people's favorite part is at the beginning when you hear Pauline's voice like singing. I'm like, oh my god! And like when I heard that, I'm pretty sure that that's the same woman that did the song for Mario Odyssey.
It is.
Called
Yeah, they confirmed it.
Yeah, I'm like, thank God it's her. I'm like, this is amazing. So I'm like, if she's gonna be like doing some songs for this, I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Let's do it. And like, I hope they do it at the right time during these story beats too, because it seems like they're gonna add some depth to the story in there, and like striking the bond between Pauline and Donkey Kong. And I feel like they're gonna like retcon a whole bunch of stuff about Donkey Kong, because I feel like that's how Pauline's going to become like the mayor of New Donk City or something like that, which she named it after Donkey Kong and stuff. And I think Nintendo did say that, hey, don't think too hard about the Donkey Kong lore, meaning that they probably don't know about the Donkey Kong lore, so they're just doing whatever that they want, and they're going to retcon a whole bunch of stuff, which I don't care. I don't mind.
Yeah.
The game looks fun as hell, and the fact that Pauline's in here, like giving her like a chemistry between her and Donkey Kong, I love it. I love the whole dynamic. So I can't wait for that, if anything.
I remember someone said something about like, you know how Pauline is the damsel from like the original like Donkey Kong game, where like she's the person at the top, and that Donkey Kong isn't technically like our Donkey Kong that we know, but it's actually like Cranky Kong.
It
like,
is,
yeah.
So like, but now they're like, oh, so how does that work since she's young now and Cranky's old? So is she like the granddaughter of like that original Pauline, and she just like, you know, like a named after?
Well,
that's why I'm thinking they're probably going to retcon a lot of stuff on accident, because I feel like Nintendo themselves don't even know their own lore at this point.
I mean, I don't.
A lot of times they don't do that.
No, is they don't care.
Yeah, a lot of times they don't care about that. They just do it, and then like people make up their own stuff and like, okay, well, here's what we'll do. Like they did that for freaking Zelda. Was it Zelda, right? Like the whole timeline thing. Like it wasn't that big of a thing for them. And then like, all right, here's the timeline for you guys. You guys have been like freaking asking for it.
Yeah. And then now that timeline is just out the window, because Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom really don't fit in any of those timelines. So they, you know, they said their philosophy is gameplay first. They start off with gameplay mechanics, then they go and add story elements to it at the end. But one theory that I did see on this was that Pauline is not technically the person that was in Donkey Kong. Because if you go and get the spirit from Smash Bros, it says Donkey Kong and Lady. It doesn't say Pauline. It just says Lady.
I see.
Yeah, so they're saying that maybe Pauline is the daughter to Lady, and you know that's where that's gonna be at.
What is this? Devil May Cry?
Yeah, exactly. But you know, I can see that. Like I've been thinking about that myself too. I was like, this Donkey Kong is weird. He's not the same Donkey Kong. If he has a young Pauline, then how does that fit in? You know, we know that it's not Cranky Kong. A lot of us were thinking, oh, we're playing as Cranky Kong, but no, Cranky Kong is in there. Unless maybe this Donkey Kong is Cranky Kong, and Cranky Kong is a different Kong from the past. But then you have Diddy and Dixie in there as well. So it's like, in the end, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just shut my brain off when it comes to lore and just play the game
Yeah,
because
essentially.
it's not gonna make any sense. Like I tried my best to make sense of Breath of the Wild in terms of the timeline, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know where this game fits in the timeline, and it's because it doesn't fit in the timeline. It's just its own thing, which is cool nonetheless. But it's kind of
This
sad
is
because I really
way
like
too
the
much
timeline.
time on Donkey Kong lore.
You don't love Donkey Kong lore? Like I love Donkey Kong lore. No, it had
And
basic lore. Like you could play Donkey Kong Country because that actually made the lore. When you start talking to Cranky, like a lot of times when you would go inside to Cranky's house, he would discuss of how he fought Mario and all this other stuff. So like that, it's Rare's fault. Rare brought lore to Donkey Kong. Yeah,
So those mushrooms have been like they have like some secret rejuvenation to it because Mario still looks young.
that's probably
yeah,
lore. That's some lore in there. Yeah, or maybe they age differently in the Mushroom Kingdom.
some good old headcanon right there. See, with me, I'm just going with my old headcanon saying, hey, by the end of Donkey Kong Bonanza, Pauline's gonna grow up, become mayor, and name the new city New York City after Donkey Kong. Why not? So I'm just gonna go with that and be happy with myself.
Is the final ball? Well, before we go to that, Brian and Fan, what are your thoughts on Bonanza?
You watched it, Fan. You go first.
I mean, I thought it was cool because like they have a lot of collectibles that you can find, and you can use those collectibles to buy stuff like gems and whatnot. And one of the things you could buy was clothes,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was really cool, where you can like get different outfits. But all the outfits also have like stats, like it does certain things as well. So I'm like, that's kind of like very Breath of the Wild. I'm like, that's cool. And then like the skill tree, I'm like, come on, like that's like they're adding some like RPG elements, like they're mixing a bunch of genres into this game. Like it's an open world, like destroy everything, but then you can like level up your character in a way to like unlock new abilities. You could buy outfits that also can like change the gameplay a little bit. Like this is probably gonna be like the best Donkey Kong game that's come out in like a really long time.
Yeah. Is this going to be the best 3D platforming Donkey Kong game?
On Switch, definitely.
What about? I mean, there's you don't think this is going to be Donkey Kong 64?
I said on Switch. Donkey Kong 64 isn't even on Switch.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying 3D Donkey Kong is the
Oh,
best
I think
3D.
it'll be way better than that.
That's what I was
God, that
saying.
was
This is
just
going to be the
collecting
best
fun.
3D Donkey Kong
Yeah,
game ever.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 3D
I just
platforming. Yeah,
the only bit I saw was when he was destroying the environment, like how you can just like bust through mountains and stuff.
Mhm.
And I was like, God, Nintendo wasted such an opportunity. They could have called this game Red Faction Guerrilla. Why didn't they do that? That'd been perfect.
Copyright.
Yep.
Yeah, no, but
they
seriously,
didn't make it to where like the skill tree you have to be a certain strength to break certain things. So you can't just break everything right out the gate.
Gotcha. No, it looks great. I really did not want to watch it because I pre-ordered it. It's going to be a day one buy for me. I mean, it's not like we're drowning in first party Nintendo Switch games to play right now, Nintendo Switch 2 games to play. So it looks great. What I saw, just because I didn't want to watch it, I only wanted to bring up the amiibo
Mhm.
to show what it looked like. And I really didn't want to see anything else that's in it because as I mentioned, I think last week when we were talking about like the Death Stranding review, like this game is, I think it's less than a month away, or it's exactly a month away. And it's like, I don't need to see anymore. Like,
Well,
if
we
this was
got
like a game that was coming out in 6 months or something, sure, but month, no.
yeah. You mentioned that a little bit off topic, but like the next few months are actually going to be packed with games. Death Stranding coming out next
That's
week.
like next week.
Yeah. For me, From Mission 3 also is coming out next week, which
Oh, is it
I'm
really?
super
I didn't even
yeah.
realize that.
So I'm super excited for
I
that.
gotta get that. Mhm.
And then going into July, Shinobi is coming out. Donkey Kong Bonanza, and then it's probably just gonna keep going on that way. We had Stellar Blade PC was last week. This week, Rido. I mean, we're on a good path for gaming in general, which is nice because I feel like it was a pretty big drought. We had like one big game, like Clear Obscure was how long ago was that? March?
Wasn't it back in March?
April?
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
April.
Oh,
Okay.
April. Okay.
Yeah, April, and then like I'm trying to think what was before that. Was there anything noticeable before that?
South of Midnight for Xbox.
Yeah, I
think
didn't
came out
play
before that.
I forgot about that game.
Yeah. I guess yeah, nothing really big. But anyways,
Indiana
yeah, I
Jones? Was
mean,
that before
honestly, part of me wonders like if I should have watched that direct, but after watching that direct, I'm also very excited, so I'm glad I watched it. My favorite thing about it is there's remixes to Donkey Kong music on top
nice.
of, songs we already know, which is cool. Like they showed off the
The DK rap.
Yep, DK raps in it, which is pretty awesome. It's something that they're not gonna let die. And hey, keep it there. But like seeing Donkey Kong Country music in it was pretty cool because I thought they were trying to wipe off Donkey Kong Country basically from the face of this earth and like just destroy rare Donkey Kong. But no, they have Donkey Kong Country music in it, which is kind of cool. I wonder
Yeah,
how.
they can't do that because like
Mhm.
they know how popular it is and stuff, so they're being smart with it.
Yeah. Oh, I love Donkey Kong Country, and the music is just amazing. Like it's still probably some of the best video game tracks in history, honestly. Like they
Nintendo's been hitting it out of the park with their game soundtracks with between Mario Kart and
Mhm.
Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yes, Mario Kart's still amazing. That needs to get added to Nintendo Switch Online, or just give me the
Yes.
freaking ability to create a playlist in the game. Like Mario Kart frustrates me in so many ways. We have the not being able to create a party and jump into just an online match, which is the stupidest thing ever. And like you can see that like I can see when like Ash was in, we're trying to do it. It shows Ash is in a lobby and I try to join in and the lobby's not even full and it won't let me join. It says unable to join the lobby. But there's like the lobby's not full. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's another issue on its own. But I just want to play this in Mario Kart. And I am happy to see that you'll be able to collect the music in Bonanza, which is kind of cool. So you'll probably have to unlock the remixes. I hope I hate saying this, but I do hope there's DLC to play as Dixie and Diddy. That would be pretty awesome. Like a co-op like DLC type thing, because I think that would be pretty cool.
All the Donkey Kong 64 DLC.
Yeah,
Get the whole gang. Get Dixie, Diddy. What was the clown looking one?
I don't think.
Kong?
Who?
What was it?
Funky Kong?
No, Funky
Was
wasn't
it
there.
Donkey Kong?
No, in
Funky
64, in 64, Dixie wasn't in there. Diddy wasn't there, but it
Okay.
was you had.
What was the clown looking one? That's the one I always
forgot.
remember.
Yeah,
Look it up. I think it's apt for this conversation. Diddy Donkey was Funky playable or no? I don't remember.
No, he wasn't
Okay.
playable. Lanky Kong.
Lanky. I think Lanky was the clown looking one.
Yeah, then you had Chunky Kong, who was the
was like
bigger one. Let
Yeah.
me see. Hold on. Yeah, you had Tiny Kong. So that was the one that looked like Dixie, which was kind of weird. Like
Right.
they didn't use Dixie, they used that.
Yeah, why wouldn't you just use Dixie?
Yeah.
Remember in the DK rap they say he's one hell of a guy. I remember seeing that. I was like, wow, they said hell in a Nintendo 64 game.
Yep.
Whoa.
That game was I gotta replay that game because in my memories I
No, you
enjoyed the game. I enjoyed
did
the
you?
game in
Okay.
my memories. Yeah, like in my memories I enjoyed it. It's funny because so a lot of my gaming memories was we had a small TV that's probably like the size of like a MacBook Pro or something. Like it's really small. And in my kitchen, we had a corner that I had like the gaming corner. So we put the TV there, and then I had either the PlayStation or 64 connected to it. Now, this was all by choice. I didn't have to put it there. I could have put it in my room that I had a bigger TV there, or I could have put it in the living room, which I had a bigger TV there too. I just chose not to. I chose this small, like 13-inch TV.
You had a little nook, it sounds like. That sounds very cozy.
Yeah, it was cool, but that's where I played it, and I'll never forget spending hours and hours there just playing Donkey Kong
Collecting
64.
bananas of varying colors.
Yeah, it was Majora's Mask, all that. This TV was small. I just put it away. It was a mono sound, right? So it only had one speaker, so you couldn't even play anything stereo. It was all mono. It was I don't know. It was cool though. I really liked it. But yeah, that's where I played a lot of my games. So every time I reference a game, like Resident Evil 1 was played there. Resident Evil 2 was played there. Majora's Mask was played there. Ocarina of Time was played on the big screen because it had to be on the big screen. But yeah, a
Of
lot of my
course.
games were played there. But yeah, I gotta replay it. Maybe see if my memories are all a lie.
That'd be a good stream. I'd watch you play
I
that.
I mean I went back play older games and stuff that I
Mhm.
used to play when I was a kid, and like I still enjoy them to this very day.
Yeah.
I still loved do we just call it Spider-Man at this point? I mean I call it Spider-Man 64 because I had it on Nintendo
It's
64.
just Spider-Man in general, but maybe they added the 64 for the 64 version.
That was
I
the
don't know.
one
No,
made by
that was my own like
Activision or
yeah,
Neversoft or whatever.
that was
Neversoft.
my
Yeah.
own like canon thing because at the time I didn't know there were other versions of the game, so I called it Spider-Man 64. But like when I revisited the game, but this time played it on, let's see, I think it was on the Dreamcast or something like that, since that was the best version. I still love the game. Like there was some jankness to it, of course,
Hmm.
but it was still a fun game to play.
Oh yeah, the game's
And
great.
yeah, so
It's funny. I never played that Spider-Man game. These Spider-Man
you should
games
you
I
should.
played were Maximum Carnage. I loved
That was a
that
very good
game.
game.
And then after that, the next Spider-Man game I would play would be the Spider-Man the movie game on PS2, I believe it was.
I'll
That's
tell
pretty
you
good
this.
too.
I'll tell you this much, James, bro. You'll love the '90s Spider-Man jokes in that game. I love,
Yeah.
man. You will love it a lot. Trust me on that.
Maybe I'll get on my Retroid Pocket because that game won't ever be re-released. I doubt it.
Yeah, I highly doubt it too.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? I was just thinking about that. So the corner that I had in my kitchen, technically now I have a similar corner in my room here. So I might have to set that up. Maybe I'll get a small like portable monitor like the one that Fan has and put that there, and there we go. Does your
You're like
monitor
the
does that portable monitor have speakers on it or no?
It does.
It does. Oh, let's see. There we go.
you're like that character from Close Encounters of the Third Kind that makes the like mashed potatoes into like mountains or whatever. It's like you have to keep on remaking this gaming nook in varying ways from when you
Yep.
were a kid.
I do. Little part of me can't die, right?
I have
Um,
a question for all you guys. A bit of a side question.
yeah.
Did you guys when you have the Switch 2 docked, were you guys able to hook up a monitor directly to the Switch on its top USB-C port by
No.
any
Never
chance?
tried.
Never
No,
tried. Okay.
never tried it. Yeah, I don't think that USB-C port does video out because I believe that in somebody had put the specs that it doesn't support was it DisplayPort something, which is what you need for USB-C video out.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah. So fortunately, no on that. But I never tried it. I mean, we could always try
mean-
like USB-C to
I mean, if-
HDMI cable or something.
I mean, if you have it docked, then why would you need to plug a monitor on the
There's
top
that too.
port?
Yeah.
Mainly
Like-
because the monitor I have, it has an HDMI to USB-C cable. So I was thinking, hey, maybe if I just hook it, plug the USB-C directly onto the Switch USB-C
Mm.
port, then it will work if it's docked or something like that. But,
No, you're gonna have to wait for
so
the Switch 2
miss-
Pro.
yeah, so at that point, the dock itself will need to have like a USB-C in on the dock itself, and
Yeah, it would have to have like a
Yeah.
USB-C display port like on the dock.
Yeah, makes sense.
So everybody here is excited for Kong Bananza.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it has potential
Less
to
than a
be
month away.
Game of the Year, like Game of the Year nominee. That we have 2 so far that I can think of. Well, 3, I guess. Split Fiction was also this year, right? Was that this year?
Wait, I thought, yeah, didn't Split Fiction already come out already?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
I'm
you're
saying
talking
was
about,
that
yeah,
you're
this
talking about
we
year?
Game of the Year
playthrough of it.
nominations.
Yeah, because we did a playthrough, but I don't know. Did it come out this year, or I thought it came out late
I'm
last
looking.
year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it came out last year.
Nope, March 6, 2025.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought that game came out last year. Okay, interesting.
So I think so far it's safe to say at least 3 nominees. Bonanza, Split Fiction, and Expedition 33 are safe bets. I don't think any other game I can think of can make that list right now. Like to the future, we have possibly Metroid Prime 4, depending on how good that is. Death Stranding 2, depending on how good that is. What
People are
else?
saying Hades 2 could be.
I mean,
Oh yeah, Elden Ring Night Rain. I forgot to add that in there. No, just kidding. I don't
Well,
you know, Death Stranding 2 is going to be on there. It's freaking Keeley. He's going to make sure it's on there.
Yeah.
They're gonna
They
have
hug.
a
What about,
long hug.
What about Ghost of Yote?
It's possible. I mean, I don't think
It's not coming out in November, and that's
October,
pretty
I
much like
believe.
cutoff. October. I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder what's the cutoff.
The cutoff is
I don't know.
November.
Oh, okay. So Ghost of
Yeah.
Yote will definitely be in there then. Okay.
If it's as good as Tsushima. Yeah, I can see that. I'm trying to think, is there any other big games that we know of that's coming out this year? I don't think so, right?
No, I don't think so. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Night Rain's going to be on the list somewhere in there. Best
I don't think
multiplayer
s-
of the year.
I mean, yeah, I can see that being
Borderlands
on
4.
there. But I think Mario Kart World will probably pick that up for best multiplayer. You said Borderlands 4? I don't think that would be Game of the Year
No, it's
material.
not. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just naming big games that are coming
Ninja
out. I don't
Gaiden
know.
4 is coming out, I guess, this year too. Depending on how
Yeah.
good that is, that might have potential. Another game that I
Wait,
wish
yeah.
would be on Switch too.
Wait, y'all think Borderlands 4 is not going to be it can't be a contender for a Game of the Year or
I don't
something?
think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't
I
think
mean, I'm
it's
not
gonna
a,
be
I'm
on
not
that
a big
list.
fan of Borderlands myself, but I know like 2 was big back then or something. So I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know if it
15
can
years ago.
if it can make a comeback, you know. So
Hey,
Hollow
Lobo
Knight
Kendall,
Silk Song.
thanks for popping in on the stream. Yeah, I don't. Unless, like, I think there would have to be some crazy, like, shadow drops. That one game, what was the name of that game? They got delayed. It was supposed to come out in August. Is that still coming out this year, or did it get pushed to next year? It was called it was a PS5 exclusive. It looks like kind of like Final Fantasy 15. It has like a dude. He has like a dragon.
I know you. Is it
Was
called
it Lost Soul Aside?
Yes,
Yeah,
Lost Soul
Lost Soul
Aside.
Aside,
Is
yeah.
that still coming out this year? Because I remember it got delayed.
Yeah.
It was originally for August. Is that getting pushed later on, or
I think it's just like a month or two delay, I thought.
okay?
Yeah, a month or two delay. What's interesting about that game is that when I went the GameStop that I went to get my copies and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they have a like a marketing thing for the game itself. So I'm like, oh, interesting. Like it's like my first time seeing that. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess the devs are serious about this. That's great.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else might have potential, because I really feel that's it. Xbox doesn't have anything big coming out this year that I can think of. Because there's the Gears of War, but it's just another remake of the first game, and then the Gears of War, the prequel they have is still not. There's no time frame on that one, I believe.
Remake of the year 2025.
Yeah. Hey, that could be another category because there is a lot of remakes, right?
Could be the nostalgia like category or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope Nintendo shadow drops some stuff, because I feel like it would be un-Nintendo like to have a lineup for the rest of this year. I feel like they'll want to continue that and start going through, because it felt like they were doing ports all last year and the year before that, because they knew they were going into the Switch 2 generation, which is why we had things like Mario versus Donkey Kong and like Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, and all these other like ports that were coming over. So I feel like we're gonna get these brand new games, maybe a new Xenoblade Chronicles game. I doubt it, because X, just came out, but it'd be nice to have maybe an announcement of whatever new Xenoblade Chronicles title they're working on, but at the same time, maybe not. A new Fire Emblem game would be amazing. Just saying, but I don't think that'll be coming out this year. If it does, I'll be like screaming, especially if we do a live direct reaction. I will scream if a new Fire Emblem game comes out. What else do they have
They
potential?
just got to do Prime 2 and 3, man. Like
That'd be nice, but I feel like
They
they
just-
forgot about 2 and 3. They don't care about that no more.
I mean, they did the first one. 4's coming out. Like people that never played 2 and 3, like, all right, what are we gonna do? Like,
Well, you would have to also play Hunters, right? Because the enemy there is from Hunters. Has anybody who here has played Metro Prime Hunters? Am I the only one?
Only a little bit because a friend of mine
Okay.
was talking about hunters on DS back then.
Yeah.
Like because I had that one friend that was like into that game, like big into that. And yeah, I did play a little bit. It's definitely a really fun game, but like he only had me play the multiplayer portion of it, and that's it.
It was cool, like being able to control like first person on the DS screen on the bottom screen was kind of neat because it kind of made sense, right? It's basically mouse controls, but you're using the stylus to move the cursor, and then you would tap, or actually, no, I lied. You would press the L button to shoot. So it was kind of like intuitive in terms of how you would use it. The downside to that game though is because since it surrounds the DS mechanic, it's not good to emulate because you would have to go ahead and find a way to either always have your touchscreen be accurate, or I guess you can technically map the touchscreen to the thumbstick.
There's mouse mode now.
There is mouse mode on Switch too, so it may be a little bit easier. Which mouse mode is not that great in my opinion. Like it works good. It is very uncomfortable. I tried playing Fortnite with it, and it is just my wrist was hurting really bad. I tried twice. And it's just like I can't. They have to do an attachment that makes it like a real mouse. Like I feel like it's the only way mouse mode would work. Because or it could be just Fortnite. But with Fortnite, you have to still use all the buttons and the thumbstick on the side. So you're not only doing the R and the ZR button, you're pressing all those buttons and the thumbstick because you have to be able
So
to.
they haven't like optimized it for mouse mode on the Switch 2 yet.
I think it's like, how can I put it? Right. So with keyboard and mouse, you have all your buttons on the left, right? And then you have mainly 3 buttons on the right, right? You have your scroll wheel and then your right and left click. And then every other button you would press is on the keys on the keyboard. And here to play a game like Fortnite, you don't have that many buttons on your left Joy-Con. So you have to have those same buttons on the right Joy-Con. So in order to go ahead and swap your weapons, it's still L and R. So you're still pressing R to cycle through or L to cycle through. In order to crouch, you have to still push in your right thumbstick, which is very cramping because then you have to go ahead and like do like finger gymnastics because the right thumbstick is all the way at the bottom. So you're going from up here to moving your hand down here, and it's just maybe they could better optimize the buttons to make it as one of these buttons to do that. Like I don't know, they would have to figure out a way. Like maybe an attachment is probably the best bet, so make it easier to click in on the thumbstick. But outside of that, it works. It's just very uncomfortable to use, at least in that game. Cool. Anything anybody else wants to talk about since that's pretty much it for the topics that we have for today?
I just like to
finished.
add. I'd just like to add. If as long as I feel like the Switch, like the devs themselves, like add like actual mouse support, because I know
Mhm.
there's one particular game that will actually allow you to use a literal mouse for Switch 2. I just don't know
Yeah.
for which game and stuff. So I think it's on the developer to actually implement that into the Switch 2 version of anything.
Yeah. We're gonna say Brian.
I finished Onimusha Warlords for the first time today.
Oh, nice.
It's a game that I really feel was rushed.
Mm-hmm.
I could be totally wrong, but the ending of it feels so sudden. Like you go into this area and you fight this kind of semi-boss, and then you go to the like literal next room and it's like the big boss. And then what happens is Seminosuke drips some of his blood on the thing that sucks the souls,
Mm-hmm.
and he becomes like Super Seminosuke, kind of like what's called Fierce Deity Link or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he's like a super version of himself, and it's like a CG cutscene of him like cutting down the last boss, and you don't play as it. And it's like, why am I not playing as this? And then it cuts to showing Nobunaga, and it's like, okay, I'm like, oh, here's like the real final boss fight. It's like, no, this is just a CG sequence. And then it shows like what happens to all the characters. It gives like a little like 3-sentence thing about like this character went on to this war and died, and it's just like a still picture. It just feels. Did any of you guys ever finish Onimusha Warlords? You know what I'm
Years
talking
ago,
about?
yeah.
Okay. it's just very sudden, and I'm wondering if 2 is a bit more refined. Like I'm wondering if 1, because it came out early in the PS2's life cycle, so maybe they were just trying to rush out software. Because it's a very short game too. Like you can beat it in under 3 hours if you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if they were just trying to, because that's a KG Inafune game, I believe, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is. Yep.
So like it's one of those things where I wonder if they're just trying to get some really good quality PS2 games out there, because early in the PS2's life cycle, there wasn't a ton of great stuff early on. I mean, you had a couple of decent like launch games like SSX, Madden,
Street Fighter EX2, I believe.
I don't know how great that
Wasn't
has
that good.
debatable quality. Yeah, I was gonna say. And then that game came out, and that might have been like one of the first great games on PS2 is Onimusha, honestly, because then I want to say it was October, November. I think MGS2 came out that year in 2001.
Unreal Tournament, I think, also was launch, at least a launch window game.
Yeah, that was a close launch game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Tekken Tag Tournament was also very
Yeah.
good as well. That was a very good port. But yeah, I did enjoy Onimusha. I want to go through 2 next because that port just dropped. So I'm gonna try to clean up some trophies in 1. Well, I'm playing it on Steam Deck, so to clean up some achievements on 1. The only thing that really sucks though is that you get into this room and you do this semi-boss fight or mini-boss fight, and then the next room is the last boss. And if you save in the room where the mini-boss is, you can't leave again. So I was planning on tonight going back and cleaning up a lot of trophies, but I can't go back anymore. So if I want to go clean up trophies, I'll have to do a whole new playthrough of the game, which maybe I'll do, maybe I won't. I don't know. But yeah, good game though. I'm gonna go through 2, and then before you know it, that new one's gonna come out that looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think 2 is better than 1 for sure. Yeah, I think so. The cast is a little bit more different, right? And I feel like, did anybody play Genji?
Fleshed out.
Yeah.
Did I play Genji? A
Yeah.
little bit.
Okay, like they definitely Genji built off of what, even though they're different, makers. Sony made. I believe it was Japan Studios they made Genji, but like,
Oh, was it Japan Studios? I
I
didn't
believe
realize that.
so. Yeah. I could be wrong on that. I know Sony first
Sounds
party,
right.
but yeah, they I think that was kind of like the staple of what a game of that style could be, right? And then eventually, Genji came out and had a similar kind of form factor. Like Genji felt very much like Onimusha 2. And then 3, I don't think was as good as 2, and I never played the last one.
Had Gene Reno in it. That's probably why it'll never get re-released.
Probably, yeah. And that's the only one that I've never played. I remember being excited for it, but never played it.
Then there was a fighting game, I remember, and there was a tactics game on Game
There
Boy
was.
Advance, I think.
Yeah, I have that on my Retroid Pocket. I haven't
There you
played
go.
it yet, but it's a tactical RPG, and I'm there. I
Oh,
kind of want
yeah.
to play Pokemon Conquest also, which is also a tactical RPG.
Oh, that's right up your alley
Yeah.
too. Jeez.
It is. That was a blend with Pokemon and Nobunaga's whatever, that Nobunaga
Ambition?
series. Like, yeah, they have like
Is
that.
it Ambition?
I have no clue what the name of it is, but it's like a mixture of both of them there, which is kind of funny because like Nobunaga has like, I forgot what Pokemon, it's like Mewtwo or something like that, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna rule the world and all this stuff. Like, it's interesting. Yeah.
I mentioned it on the stream to you guys, but where is everybody in Expedition right now?
I have not
Bro,
played.
I'm still on Act 2, beginning of Act 2, unfortunately. I mean,
Same here.
I'm at the part where I gotta take down these things to destroy the barrier between them and the Patriots.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I'm like, and the problem is like that I just stopped playing the game there. There's nothing wrong with the game, by the way. It's just like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, I bought 2 RPGs technically, so I'm like, oh, crap. I'm going to actually hop into these, but it completely ignore Clear Obscure. So I'm just like, oh man, I gotta. And it's even worse that I have a manager that has less time than I do when it comes to gaming, but manages to fully complete the game with like around 100 and so hours. And every time he sees me, he asks me, did you progress in the game? I'm like, no, not yet.
I relate to that so hardcore. Yeah.
So,
Ash,
I'm
so
in
you haven't
Old
beaten
Lemire.
one of them yet? What'd you
What'd
say,
you say?
Van?
I'm at Old Lemire.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
What'd you say, Brad?
So you're in Act 2, I think. Have you beaten one of the 2 monsters yet to break the barrier?
Yeah,
or no?
I think their name is Axioms, and no, I have not. I went to the
Neither one of them?
I went to the one that like entrances your like mind with her dance or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one I have to beat. So
Okay. Yeah. So, James, where are you again?
I'm still in the beginning of Act
Do you
2.
remember?
Yeah, no, I'm like
Okay.
literally in the beginning.
Okay. So, God, I definitely I'm going to tell you some stuff but I'm not going to spoil it. I had an idea for what this game was going for as far as like from a story perspective. Totally kind of turned it on its head as to what it actually is.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things that are pulled from other media, I would say. Um, a buddy of mine compared it actually to Final Fantasy X, some of the beats of it,
Mhm.
and I could kind of see where he was coming from, but he was like borderline calling it a Final Fantasy X like not rip off, that's too strong a word, but just kind of like he thought that they copied 10 in a way, and I disagreed with that. But the way that when you get to Act 3, like when you finish Act 2, and by the way, Ash, you're really close to finishing Act 3. Like you beat those two
no,
things.
you mean two, right?
Beg your pardon?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think he meant
you
Act
mean
2.
two, right?
You said you're very
Oh,
close
did
to
I say
finishing
Act
Act
3?
3. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
he says
you're
he's
very
getting
close to
close
getting to Act
to
3. Yeah,
getting
that's
to
what I
Act
meant.
3.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
That's surprising. That's really
Yeah.
surprising that I'm that
So
close to Act 3. I
you
feel like I
beat
didn't progress that much into
you
Act 2. I
beat
mean,
those
I know I got
two.
Monaco, but I don't know.
Yeah. You beat those two axioms, and then you go to the last area, and then you're done with Act 2. It's just like it was such a pleasant surprise when you learn some of the things that you learn about what's actually going on in the world, because I didn't see it coming really. Because you start to kind of question the stuff with the girl with the mask, her relation to Verso, the relation with Renoir, how Mael kind of fits into everything, how these characters kind of fit into everything, and when it gets revealed to you, you're just kind of like, wow, it has a lot. Like I said, it has a lot of tropes, not tropes that's negative. It has a lot of inspiration, I would say, from other sources. Like I kind of mentioned Attack on Titan, it has a lot of that in it, where you kind of assume the world is one way, but it's actually totally different than what you assumed it is, and I think that's kind of where I'll leave it as far as like
Yeah,
what it is.
I have a feeling of where this is going. I'm not going to say anything, obviously, but yeah, I
Okay.
know for a fact that it kind of took a lot of like it kind of took a lot of inspiration from different mediums too. Which
Yeah.
I'm not even like at the part that you're at, but I'm feeling like I'm thinking that it might get there.
Yeah.
From the way that like especially how our Renoir is being portrayed as and stuff as like the villain or something like that. I'm like you know what, he might be doing this for a specific reason at this point.
Mm.
So I'm like okay.
Yeah, I might finish it this weekend. Have a really busy weekend. Otherwise, for sure, I'll be finishing it next weekend, and I'll kind of have a final report on it. But I definitely encourage you guys to get back to it, because I'd like to have like a discussion
I'll
around it. Like,
try. I mean,
Okay.
I'll try and finish it before Bonanza's release.
okay, that's
Yeah,
fair.
I mean, it's one of those things
I-
I can't put down my Switch too, so it's like
You can't commit to
think-
anything, James. You've started so many games. You haven't even finished
True.
Astrobot. You haven't finished Tears of the
haven't.
Kingdom. You haven't finished Kingdom Hearts on computer.
No, I finished 2.5. So
Oh, did you?
yeah,
Okay.
so I finished the 2.5. So I did like 3D, or sorry, not 2.5, 2.8 remix, the collection there that had the Aqua story and that. So I did finish that, and then I started with Kingdom Hearts 3. So no, I did progress through that. I just take waves. I had
Okay.
stopped there because I kept beat by the final boss, and I just got like pissed. I was like, you know what, we'll do this later. And then I went back.
Do it
One of those
live.
things, you stop, you go back to it, and then you beat them on your first try. That happened.
That's how it always works.
But I'll try it too. I'll try to make some effort one of these days to go ahead
We
and
could do
play it.
like a 15 to 30 minute spoiler cast kind of thing, just kind of like talking about the plot points and talking about what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. Like I think
Yeah.
that'd be a really good conversation, because we all really, I mean, I think I'm the biggest stan of Expedition out of all four of us probably. But I think all of us generally really like it, and I think it could lead to some really good discussion talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan for it too. It's just my brain is just like I don't know why I'm trying to procrastinate on video games
Because it's so good. It's so good. It's like a wine. You're just taking little sips. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be that.
Well, I was working on Pokemon Violet, so like I beat the story mode now. Like I'm just doing the post game stuff, which is easy. It's like you go through every gym leader and go through that. But I'm debating I'm buying the DLC now because I really enjoyed it. And usually I don't buy DLC. Like it's very rare for me to buy DLC because I just feel like outside of like fighter passes for like fighting games, I just don't see the need for DLC. I didn't buy the Breath of the Wild DLC because I just didn't really see the need to it. Like I beat Breath of the Wild. I'm like, okay, cool. But in this case, like I'm debating on buying it just because of where the DLC takes you, and apparently the story is unfinished because they kind of go deeper into like the mystery of Area Zero in Pokemon Violet. Yes, Pokemon Violet has a deep story actually in it. It's actually a pretty good
Got some
story.
Pokemon lore.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's kind of like I wonder how much different that lore is to Scarlet because they they are different outside of the professors being different, and of course the legendary Pokemon that you get are different. What Pokemon you see and where they're coming from are also different. So the lore has to be different, if that makes sense. So I'm very curious to see like how different that is there. But yeah. Anyways, that's beside the point. Like we'll see if I pick it up. Like today I thought about using my RGLIX and then I was like, my RGLIX is like right here, and then my Switch 2 is like right behind it. And I just went right over and picked up my Switch 2. What were you gonna say, Ash?
I got a few progress reports. So for one thing, which is the funniest thing ever, like when I bought Resident Evil Revelations for the Switch 2 for like $7, within like two days I beaten that game because how short the game was. It was like because the campaign was like around 6 to 7 hours, and I didn't realize how short the game was and stuff because like because it was a different way on how they want to tackle the campaign for a Resident Evil game and stuff. So I'm like, that's fine by me. The game was still fun as heck, and it ran really well on the Switch 2 because it was trying to aim for 60 FPS on Switch 1, but there was a good amount of moments in the areas where it will like variable between like 30 to like 60, right? But with the Switch 2, it was like a constant 60, which is awesome. And then when I recently started up Rune Factory guarding Ozma and stuff, there's some cool things in the game where like it's really unique on how they do certain things. So like I know Rune Factory is like Rune Factory to its core, it's mainly like a farm/life simulator that you do and stuff, and it mainly focuses on the farming aspect. Because this game here is a Rune Factory spinoff, it does the farm elements is not really focused here. So a lot of Rune Factory fans will say that this is not really a Rune Factory game, mainly because it doesn't focus on that. But it's still a good game regardless. And one of the things I liked is that when they start introducing characters into your village and everything, they have all these really cute introductions that they'll give you and stuff. And what's cool too is that when you look at their biography, it shows like a complete profile of like what they love, hate, dislike, what their hobbies, interests. I'm like, wow, oh my god, like they went in on this, and like there's like several pages of characters that you can look through who have their own unique designs. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. When I look up how long to beat, it's like around 22 hours for the main campaign. I'm like, wait, 22 hours? I'm like, okay, but you can when you first boot it up, you get to choose either male or female or brother or sister or something like that. They have their own canon names, of course, so definitely replay value right there. But so far, I'm like, this is cool. This is because like I'm calling this like the diet Rune Factory. So once I get into that, I'm thinking to start looking at like the main installments for Rune Factory, like Rune Factory 5, I think, and see if I can get into that game and stuff. And maybe I might actually like farming simulation games. Hopefully, I don't know. So, but yeah,
You know what's kind of been holding myself back, what I've been holding myself back from, and it's funny, Kevin Kinnison, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He does like a lot of like YouTube videos as well. He posted this, and I was like, I feel exactly the same way as with the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy release. Like, I kind of want to play through all these Final Fantasies again. Like, I showed you guys the mat that I have of Final Fantasy 10, but there's also like in my head, I was like, man, I kind of want to get the cloud one too now.
I bought the cloud one.
Oh, you did buy the cloud one?
Yeah,
Nice.
I just gotta go pick it up.
Oh,
I was too
nice.
sick to go get it, so like now I'm.
Yeah, because there's that. The
Hey.
Terra one was nice. The one that really I think is the best is the Clive one because it's the same artwork of Final Fantasy 16. So it's made by the main artist. I forgot his name. So it's that artwork and it's two-way. So like on the front is Clive and on the back is Ifrit, which is kind of cool. Really dope. I showed that to Bryant, but like there's that. I mean the decks are cool. Like the artwork for some of the stuff is nice because the cards they have like some scenes straight from Final Fantasy 7 remake just right on there, and then that's the card, and then it has like the ability or whatever it is. But anyways, it's kind of bringing that love of Final Fantasy back to me. I'm like, man, like I really love Final Fantasy, even though I hate Final Fantasy, but I love Final Fantasy. Like it's like one of those two things that so many memories playing. So like when I'm playing my Switch too, like I was playing Revelations, I hit the home screen and I go to my library and I was like, should I play Final Fantasy 7 again? And I kind of want to. I want to do like a simultaneously playthrough where I play 7, get to where it ends, or where remake ends, and then play remake on Switch 2, and then kind of do like a side by side with those. I mean, that would take me like an hour to get to that part, but anyways, that's what was that?
No, it's just I like how you brought up Final Fantasy, especially the cards, because I didn't know you guys were into collecting those. If I would have known, I would have hopped in along with you guys too. But the other thing too is that I was also trying to see what I was trying to put up Final Fantasy 9
Mhm.
off my Switch too, and I was like, because I just wanted to like go in like within an hour or two to like see like what's
Yeah.
it about. Like, I mean, let's see if I can have some fun with this, and then of course my brain told me, all right, let's Google best way to play Final Fantasy 9, and then Reddit post comes up. It says, all right, don't, and they literally said, don't play the Switch version. It's the worst one. I'm like, come on, it's the worst version. And they put up the whole thing saying, hey, get the PC version, get the mod with it. It's gonna make your experience 30 times better. I'm like, well, I guess I was going to buy on PC, put the mods on the Steam Deck, and have at it. So
I would like to see what that same post says about Final Fantasy 7 because I will guarantee you 100% that the Switch or PlayStation version or Xbox version is the best version versus the PC version. The PC version of 7 is based
they'll
off the
probably
original
say
PC.
they'll probably say the vanilla PC version of 7 will probably not be the best, but after some mods, it will probably be the best version.
Yeah. And it comes to a time where it's like, why do I have to mod it to make it better? Like, I'll play, but like I told you, the Final Fantasy 9 mod, I did play that. It is kind of cool. I just don't like they give you an option for remix soundtrack, and I was like, do not like some. All right, so you guys probably know this. There's sometimes people who think, oh man, this is amazing, and they grab something and try to like to remix it, and it becomes like the worst thing you've ever heard. Like, no offense to the mod crew, but like that's kind of how that remix soundtrack is. They make it orchestrated, but doesn't sound nowhere near as good as probably what it would be if like Uematsu was there to make sure it got orchestrated right. Like a lot of the orchestrated tracks for 7 in remake and rebirth are really nice. Or even the remixes, like the Genova remix that you get. I think it's called Genova N, right? The one that plays at the end of remake where you fight Genova.
Yeah.
Like that
Mhm.
remix is amazing because it starts off slow and like very orchestrated, and then it gets to like the OG Genova theme. But the one that they did for Final Fantasy 9, I just could not vibe with it at all. Some of the hype moments and the big moments there is just like, But the 4K like backgrounds where they made them widescreen and all that other stuff was really good. I did like that stuff. And then it did something to my save data, and that's when I stopped using it because it ruined my save data.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to the part where you have to get, is it Freya, right? The girl with the red.
I wouldn't know. I haven't played it yet.
Okay. Yeah, so when you get Freya, and then like something happened to the mod, and it just messed up and corrupted the save data, and then I lost everything.
Yeah, I never
Yeah.
mess with mods personally.
Yeah, and hit and miss depending on the mod. What about you, fam? What you been playing?
Hogwarts.
Yeah. Hogwarts
Synced
is
a bunch
good.
of hours to that. I just kind of like got into it. I was like, man. Next thing I know, hours went by.
Yeah, that was kind of me too. I was just when I first booted it up, I was like, let's see what it's about. Like I have it, I might as well make the effort. And then as I got into it, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like I'm going around Hogwarts and trying to solve those puzzles that you have to move the little picture around the two
Yeah.
like question marks. That's been my. I spent like 2 hours of just doing that and realizing, man, I didn't really do anything progressive in this game.
Did
I'm
you
just
figure out
doing
what
this.
it is?
The puzzles? Yeah, like
Yeah.
I've done a bunch of them because I know the number and I just guessed it. I didn't even find. Apparently, there's like like a
A letter.
guide. Yeah, that has what everything
It's in
is.
your mailbox. Like if you go to your mailbox, there's a letter that tells you
I
which
don't think
picture is
I've.
what number.
I don't think I've even been in my
You probably have to
mailbox.
check. It's in there.
Yeah. But I just guessed 'cause I was like looking at this. Okay, I think everything means a number, so let me just guess, and I figured out what number is what, and I've just been going from there. What house did you choose?
Gryffindor, because that's what
Gryffindor?
you know.
What Harry was?
No,
Or is that
yeah, Harry was Gryffindor. Yeah,
or is that what
but
it
no, that's
chose
just
for you?
like when my wife does like the Harry Potter quizzes and stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay.
She's always in Slytherin. I'm always in Gryffindor. So
I just did whatever the hat said I should join, which was Hufflepuff. So I was like, all right. Well, I don't know what that means, but okay.
I know Hufflepuff is like known to be like be where the cool kids are at. Apparently, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
it's like the friendly bunch.
Okay.
Something.
Like
Go ahead.
Ravenclaw is the book, like the nerds, the book
Yeah.
guy, the readers, the book. The Gryffindor is like kind of like the jocks, like they do all the adventure stuff. Slytherin is like cunning, so they're like kind of bullies in a way. And then the way Hufflepuff is like the way the story goes is like they collect everyone else that the other three houses rejected,
Oh, so I'm a
right?
reject.
But
Okay.
technically, like it's like they deal with like people who are like loyal and like friendly and just like to be around people.
Hmm.
They also like food. And that's the big thing. And supposedly the meme is like they get high a lot because their common room is like right near the kitchen.
Something that I really like about Hogwarts that's like I think underappreciated is the game lets you do kind of like bad stuff.
Yeah,
Like they don't
gives you the
sugarcoat
option.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you kind of expect. I think there's like I don't. It's been at least probably a year since I played Hogwarts. I didn't finish it, but there was some quest line with this little girl. I don't know. She's like a freshman or whatever that comes to you because she needs help like getting something back or something, and then you help her, and then like you go to like give it back to her, and she's like, okay, well, can I have my thing back? And then you're like, no, I'm gonna keep it now. Finders keepers or something like that. And
Is
like
it
in
the
a normal
gobstones or
game,
whatever? Is it the girl with the
maybe,
gobstones?
yeah.
Yeah.
And like in like a normal game, you would say something like that, and but then it would be like you actually feel bad and you give her the gobstones
Yeah.
or whatever. But like no, in this, it's like no, I'm keeping this now. Bye. And I just think that's so funny because when I played it, when I was doing my first playthrough on PC, is I'm playing a bad Gryffindor, like I'm just playing the biggest jerk of all time and just like taking everybody's stuff and doing all the bad quest lines. And then if I play it again, like on PS5, I'm gonna be a good Slytherin, and I'm gonna like be nice to everybody and kind. And I'm gonna be like the guy that like probably all the Slytherins would want to like dunk in the toilet and stuff like that because I'm so nice to everybody. So I just kind of appreciate how pure that is, that it lets you kind of be
Yeah.
a jerk.
You know what's funny is like I didn't play it for like maybe like a week or so. And then I went back to playing it and I forgot what the dodge button was. And I assumed I pressed every button. So I was fighting the trolls that are in the beginning of the game that they come out, or the giants, whatever they are. They come and like smash the city. And I couldn't figure out what dodge was. And I could have sworn I pressed every button and I just kept getting hit by everything. I wasted all my potions fighting them. And then like after that, I pressed A by mistake and I dodged. I was like, I could have sworn I pressed A the whole time, but apparently I didn't. And then now I know what dodge is, and now I kind of got a feel of the mechanics and everything. I really like it. Like they did a good job with me not hating being a wizard. So like they did a good job. Like I like it so far, and I'll probably continue playing it on and off with like Revelations because Revelations is easy. Cool. All right, before we end the podcast, I have to mention Bryant why is Sidon and the rest of the amiibos on the floor there? Like,
Oh yeah, those I have all the Street Fighter 6 amiibos
oh,
and
you got
all
them
the
too. Oh, nice.
yeah, and the Tears of the Kingdom amiibos. Just because, as you can see behind me, I have this amiibo glass case, and I don't know
Yeah.
if you can tell, but it's very full. So I have to figure out how I can kind of
Rearrange.
squeeze them in there. Yeah, so I'm just kind of lazy. So right now they're chilling down there, but
Wow.
they'll be put in their place soon enough.
Nice. Yeah, I was thinking of getting Street Fighter. I showed my wife them. She's like, "Do you want them?" I was like, "I do, but I don't want to spend $40
They're
on Street
expensive. They
Fighter."
really
Yeah.
are. I
Like,
had
Yeah,
some
Amiibos
gift
have gone
cards
up
from
in price a
Target.
lot.
They have
oh yeah.
significantly, but
Like,
yeah,
because
I
I
had
think when
like
they first came out, they were like $12.
yeah,
And
Yeah,
then
they're
that,
like
15
they're
bucks,
under
yeah.
$20. They're like
Mhm.
15
Oh yeah.
bucks.
And then you had like the special like big ones that were like $20, but
Yeah.
like the like a Link was $13 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had some gift cards like for Target, and like there's like the Target Red card that gets you 5% off of all your stuff. So I just
Yeah, I
like
have the Target
used a
record
bunch of
too.
stuff, and yeah, and I got them for a pretty good price.
Yeah, I was surprised because the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 one that I have up here, this was $35 for this.
Well,
And I
there
was
was there's
like,
two in there at least.
yeah, it is too, but I was still surprised because the Wind Waker, Toon Link, and Zelda was like $20. And it comes with
Oh,
two as well. And I'm like, man, I mean, it's cool looking. Like the Xenoblade Chronicles stuff is really cool, but I'm like, man, that's expensive. I think the Pyra and Mithra one were also pretty cheap. Uh, but yeah, that's my favorite amiibo. It's still this to this day. I've said it multiple times. Silica and all. I love that art style. Like,
I have those.
this needs to be the future Fire Emblem art style. I don't want the crappy art style that they got right now.
What if they had an anime like that, James? A Fire Emblem anime in that art style? Would
That
you
would be
lose your mind?
amazing. I would lose my mind
Yeah.
because the cutscenes in that game look gorgeous with that art style. Like, you
And
know,
that's a DS game too
it is, yeah, and it's amazing. Like that, I
for
hope
3DS.
that would be a game that I would love to port it over. But I just like Awakening's art style is not that bad, but it's not as cool as that.
It looks kind of like that. What's that game called? The one that you just showed, not Awakening. The other one, Shadow Elysia. What's it called?
Shadows of Valentia. This one?
Shadows of Valentia.
Yeah,
Yeah, it kind of is like a Ghibli kind of thing, a little bit. Just like it just looks very like old timey, kind of in a
yeah,
way. Like that's like the best way I can describe it.
yeah. I forgot who the artist is for this. I know they're well known. That's all I know. But yeah, I love the art style of this. But yeah, that's probably my favorite amiibo. And then a close
Oh, I
second.
actually ordered my D brand kill switch. I also ordered dark plates for my PS5.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Well, do you have a Pro or do you have a regular PS5?
I have a regular the Gen 1 digital or disc version, the Gen 1 disc
Oh.
edition. But they make retro like dark plates, so they're like black smoke transparent.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, cool.
Nice.
Kind of excited for that.
I'm still waiting for black PS5 Pro plates.
Yesterday I almost set up my PS5. Brian would have been proud of me.
Almost.
For what?
PS5.
For what?
For setting up my PS5. Like, I almost set it up.
No, for
and
what?
then-
Like, why were you setting it up for?
Just to set it up to see if I was gonna play something
Oh,
off of it.
okay.
And then as I started moving my hand to it, I was like, nah, it's too much work. And I just like stopped.
Just a quick thing, a game I'm actually considering maybe installing tomorrow to play, just to try that Remedy multiplayer shooter. I'm kind of curious about that.
Which game is that?
It's called No, what's it called? Fireproof or something? Hang on, let me look it up. Because that just came out like a couple days ago. Remedy multiplayer.
Do you like the design of the PS5?
I do.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the weird like
Concave?
curve and everything?
I like it.
The Seto Kaiba design. Yeah, of
So
course.
okay about
Like
this.
Xbox 360. Firebreak, FBC Firebreak. That's the new
Firebreak.
Remedy multiplayer shooter. I'm gonna try it. It looks interesting. I'm not really into those kinds of games, but
Mhm.
I'll try it because I really like Remedy.
What game
I asked because there's a YouTuber who made like custom like plates for the PS5 that makes it like just like box and angular, kind of like back to like the PS3 days or no
Yeah.
How's
PS4
it look?
days. It looks kind of cool. I mean, it looks like almost kind of like a Like it just kind of like goes back to that old square style.
I mean, I like the design and like Ash mentioned like Setsu Kaiba. Like I would love to get just the headpiece of Kaiba's head on top, like they did in the little necklace. But I've always liked the PS5 design. Like when it first got showed off, I liked it. People were hating on it, and I thought it was great. It was
Wait, people were
different.
hitting on it.
Yeah, a lot of people were hating
Yeah,
on
people
the
don't
A
like
design.
lot of
it.
people are hating on it. I think it's fine. I'm just excited
Yeah.
for the dark plates because it's got the vent cut out for the fan, the exhaust fan. So
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah,
think I think the Series X might be better though. I like how like simple and boxy the
I mean,
Series X is.
if I have to choose the
So-
3, I kind of like the Series S's like simplistic design.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's-
yeah, I agree. It's
Yeah, that
it's
grill on
sports.
the top though, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, the black grill. Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
I actually like the black girl. I don't know.
Like the black grill?
do you have the disc edition or the digital edition on the PS5 Pro?
Digital.
Well, I think PS5 Pro is only digital, and you have to buy the drive
You have to
separate,
buy the
right?
drive. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I ask because if you have the drive, then the plates, will be different,
Oh,
obviously, to make
okay.
room for the drive.
Yeah, I don't have a drive.
I'm looking at that game. It does look pretty cool. And I see
Yeah, it
you're
looks
in the
interesting.
control lab or
Mhm.
place, whatever they call it. Yeah, it looks pretty interesting. A game that I was thinking of picking up and I might pick up is a Rematch. It's that like soccer game that's like I think it's from the people who made Rocket League. Uh I believe so. I think it's
Or
like,
is it? I thought it was the people that made Sifu.
is it? Oh yeah, I think you're right. It is the people who made Sifu. Yeah. Let me see.
That's tagged you in a thing on the partner chat, so you can see the plates.
Yeah,
you
it
want it
is
to
the
look,
people who made
right.
Sifu, and they made
Okay.
Absolver too. Yeah. Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, it's definitely people who
Oh
made
yeah, that
Sifu,
does
yeah.
look nifty. That does look like PS4 kind of. It looks like PS4 and Xbox Series S had a baby.
Yeah. Alrighty, we'll end the podcast here. Appreciate everybody for joining. As always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll be here together playing Mario Kart World. So if you want to go ahead and join the room, definitely come ahead and catch us. We'll be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, so you can join the room there, and we'll be playing some Mario Kart World there. And we'll be back, of course, next week. Fam, where can I catch you at?
They can catch me to Phaneckswhy at all the socials.
What about you, Ash?
You can catch me here on at Astrostrom on YouTube and I guess X and Blue Sky. I think so.
What about you, Bryant?
At Red So Deep on Blue Sky.
And as always, you can catch me right here at the Random Encounter, and we will be back tomorrow. Take care, guys.